And we are on the air. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show that never will endorse taking Vicodin. Yeah, right. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Aletta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with my smiling partner, Brian, the Ranger of Tart. Brian, how are you on this live evening?
It's finally here. It's finally here. Listen, got done work.
That's right.
Left work for the day, got home, and you know what? Before I go into the office on Monday,
Yep.
we're almost going to be done week 1 of the NFL season. And I am excited about that. But
it started already last night.
let's talk a little about last night.
Wow. Well,
Mike,
let's talk about a quarterback who threw 300-plus yards, and it wasn't Tom Brady. Unbelievable. Alex Smith lighting up the Patriots yesterday like nobody's business. 41-27, I believe it was.
It was, you know what?
21 unanswered in the second half.
You know, here's a couple things that stand out to me from that game, right? You know, we talk a lot about, and I always view things, especially when my team's not involved from a fantasy perspective.
Yep.
Kareem Hunt.
Running wild. They should make a video
listen,
of him. 148 yards yesterday. Unbelievable. Guy scores 3 times. And not to take away on the other side of the ball, Gillisley. Unbelievable. 3 touchdowns. Both quarterbacks. And in fantasy, folks, yes, I played the guy who had both running backs, so I'm catching the beating early. Yeah, so
I mean, you look at how this game went, Mike. You know, statistically, I mean, Alex Smith is not a guy who is known as a down the field thrower. Okay.
Yeah.
He had 368 yards and 4 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. At a 90 QBR, Brady didn't even complete 50%.
No, and on the downside of the whole game, Eric Berry, the Chiefs cornerback,
Yes.
lost this season with the Achilles injury in the fourth quarter. When you think really you didn't need him, but how do you expect something like that to happen? I mean, the guy's come back from so much in his career to get back to play at the level he has, and now he's gone for the year. But,
a couple of fantasy things for me that I take out of that game, and there's a couple of things here. Number one, I really feel as though Mike Gillisley is going to be the back to own of the guys that are in New England. You know, there was some talk this offseason
James White.
Well, I like James White as well, but the whole Rex Burkhead thing to me, I think, has been very, very overblown.
Yeah, he's going to be a kind of a conditional guy put in there for certain situations and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot was made of him. Oh, he's going to be one of these rushing guys, and even a Deion Lewis. I think these guys are down.
Yeah, I think he could be. Burkhead could be used like kind of like a Danny Woodhead in Baltimore. Going to be, you know, maybe Woodhead gets some more carries.
I think that's more James White from what I saw yesterday. You know, but Gillisley's going to be that guy who reprises the blunt roll from last year. I mean, every time they got within the 10, they let Gillisley run with it. He's going to be that power guy for them. So for me, if I want to have anybody on New England as far as that running game goes, I'm really fading Burkhead here. I like Gillisley, and I think James White's going to be the most consistent guy between the 20s.
Going in a lot of drafts, too.
Yeah.
Got drafted late, picked him up late just to see what New England can do. And But New England, let's talk about New England a little bit, behind the 8 ball early. I mean, here's a team that doesn't usually get behind. Last night was kind of a Mayweather McGregor fight, because you figured it was coming, and you figured the knockout was coming, and it never happened. So, the Patriots were in it, beating up on Kansas City at the beginning, and all of a sudden the game just turned. And then here we are, New England losing the game, 21 unanswered points. That defense should have been a lot better last night.
Well, they're going to have injuries.
Yeah, but you got 2 stud corners, shutdown corners out there, McCarthy and Gilmore, and they got toasted a couple times yesterday. So
they did. From their receiving game, though, Mike, you look at how that worked out from a fantasy perspective. Amendola led the way with 100 yards, 6 catches. Now he's in concussion protocol. Don't know what he's going to look like for next week.
I know you lost Edelman for the year, but if Amendola starts leading the team every year in receiving, they're going to have problems.
Well, I'm kind of surprised you didn't see more out of Chris Hogan. And Chris Hogan was really, really well covered in that game. It wasn't that Brady wasn't looking for him.
He did drop a couple, though.
Well, but there were a lot that it just felt like either Brady just overthrew a little bit, or they just really weren't totally in sync.
Yeah.
But I think that Hogan's going to be a guy to keep in mind for fantasy circles. I think of the receivers, obviously outside of Cooks. I think that Hogan's a guy to keep in mind. But, Gronk, 2 catches, 33 yards. I think that
Eric Berry was covering like a glove yesterday.
He was, but what's interesting is, again, I think that the emergence of Gillisley last night is probably a negative for Gronk, because Gronk's gotten so many short touchdowns at the goal line in that first 5-10. If they're going to run the ball in those spots, that's less for Gronk to have.
And Brady really didn't have a lot of pressure to him early in the game. Maybe a little late in the game in the fourth quarter, he had to run around a little bit, but in the beginning of the game, he really didn't. And I'm surprised he didn't get more people involved, like you said. He really couldn't get any kind of flow to the game at all. And that just shows it, and it wasn't the whole reason, but Edelman can get this game turn around in a heartbeat. He gets a big catch. He's vocal in the locker room. He's a guy who will stand in Brady's face and get on Brady and say, let's go. And that's the kind of hurts you. That's kind of hurts you.
That's true. On the Kansas City side of the ball, listen, a lot to be excited about. I mean, listen, I don't think any of us thought they were going to win this game. And boy, did they.
Tyreek Hill. He looks good again.
Tyreek Hill, 7 catches, $133 and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt had 5 catches for 98 and 2 touchdowns, along with his 148 rushing. Listen, Andy Reid's had these guys, right? Brian Westbrook, even the guys that are out in Kansas City before, the
dual threat,
Spencer Ware, Jamal Charles, the way he's used these guys. Yeah. That's really bullish. That's really, really bullish, I think. Kareem Hunt was a guy who you kind of thought, as Spencer Ware got hurt, was going in those that 3-4 turn in your drafts. Yeah. Really blew up right towards the end. I was in the draft like he went in the back end of the second round. He really came up.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be a good player coming in the league. This kind of player, I never expected this kind of player out of him. But he's so far off to a good start. Now let's, temper expectations for it right now. We're talking about how he got 3 touchdowns.
Hey.
Listen, he does this 2 or 3 weeks, kind of stable, over 100 yards, maybe get a touchdown here. Then let's say, you know what? Kareem Hunt's a real deal. It's 1 game. But he looked good so far.
But concerned about Travis Kelce. Only 5 catches for 40 yards.
And a 7 penalty yesterday, too, by kicking somebody. Travis Kelce's kind of a head case, too. He's gotten the dumb penalty here and there just because of his attitude, his ego, whatever like that. But again, like you said, he's got to get more involved in the offense.
They need him. He's been their primary pass catcher.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of guys that are going to throw to him, I think Alex Smith has kind of silenced some people right now, saying that he should be on the bench right now, Mahomes in the game. Here's a guy who really shifted the ball around solid yesterday.
A lot was made of after that game is did Alex Smith just need a fire lit under his ass?
Maybe they should trade him. Maybe he should sit the bench because they moved up to get Mahomes. We put all that to bed yesterday.
Yeah, we did. So again, Chiefs come out of there with a win. They're going to host the Eagles next week. We'll see how that goes.
That's going to be interesting because that game was a real bad game for the Eagles going into that. Not that I think it's going to make it any better, but there's a game that you thought they were going to lose to the Patriots. They would come home hungrier and just kick the snot out of the Eagles. Well, now they won this game. They are going home. I just don't think it's that bad of a loss for the Eagles now. I think they still lose. But I think that maybe the Eagles can hang in it for a little while. But I think it's still a loss.
Listen, if you go into Foxborough and beat the Pats, you really think you're going to lose with the Eagles at home? I think it's going to be. We'll see. Probably not. But Mike, let's take a look forward here to the games for Week 1, and we'll touch on maybe some fantasy a little bit as we go through the schedule.
Yep.
First game here is a barn burner. It's a barn burner.
Man Z, turn your head.
Those New York Jets will visit their AFC East rivals, the Buffalo Bills. I'm pretty sure the Bills are right now a 9-point favorite in this game, and I don't know too many games the Bills are going to be big favorites.
9.5.
9.5.
Yeah, might go to 10 by the time we get off the air.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting. Interesting in Buffalo. They cut Jonathan Williams, who was supposed to be the primary backup to LaShawn McCoy. To me, that seems they're going to give McCoy the ball early and often. I think Tyrod Taylor is now out of concussion protocol. I believe he's scheduled to make the start here. Gotta love Buffalo, right, Mike? All things considered.
I guess you like Buffalo because the Jets are going to be putrid. I like Buffalo in this game. I think it's a game you hold your nose because here's a Buffalo team who's not really exactly setting the world on fire either with their schedule, with their team. But if you had to pick somebody, I'd take the Bills, and I think they're going to cover.
Well, from a fantasy perspective, you look at this game. Obviously, you're going to start with LaShawn McCoy, right? This is not news, not breaking news on the sports box. Yeah. The one Jet I think is worth talking about is Bilal Powell. I think he's going to be the only Jet as we go through the season.
Yep.
That's going to be helpful. And you think about if you believe the Jets are going to be down and out in this game by the second half. Still 30 minutes of football to play. And I think they're going to have a lot of garbage time for a guy like Bilal Powell to pack up some numbers for you. If you have Powell, I like him coming in, especially in a PPR league. I think he's golden.
Going to get a lot of carries.
But I don't want any receivers in this game. I really don't. These quarterbacks are god-awful, okay? And I don't want anybody to throw it to.
Right. Then you just have Kiersey and Kierce join them this week. So there's two guys.
Curly and Curse.
Curly and Curse. I'm
close.
Sorry.
You're in the ball.
Whatever. I'm just bad. Whatever. So you get those two guys in the offense, great, but they've only been there this week, a couple days.
Yeah.
So how much are they going to learn? And then, like you said, Buffalo, they're kind of a little bit of a train wreck too. I mean, they got rid of Sammy Watkins. Rumors are that McCoy's on his way out. That they're looking to move him. I still think the Bills have enough to win this game. I mean, I don't. But like you said, I like Bilal Powell.
I'm picking more against the Jets than I am for the Bills.
I agree.
Is that about fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
So if you go down to the RFK, well, not even RFK anymore. I don't know what it is. You go FedEx Field.
FedEx Field.
So the
because
Eagles
things get delivered there so much, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
That was good. So the Eagles off to Washington to try for the 6th time they have yet to beat them. And that's the thing. I hear a lot of Eagles fans, and I'm still we're in the Eagles area, but a lot of Eagles fans are taking this game for granted, saying, yeah, they can go down and beat the Redskins. You notice every year the Redskins are touted to be the worst team in this division every year. Mm-hmm. And they're not that bad on paper. I mean, Cousins is a good quarterback, although they did lose Garcon last year and Deshaun Jackson. They do have Pryor in there and Crowder. And you got
Josh Dotson.
Yep. Jordan Reed if he stays healthy.
Yep.
So this isn't a bad Redskins team. The thing with the Eagles is, I don't know if they did enough in the offseason to with the schedule. We talked about it. This schedule is brutal for them. I don't know if they have enough to go down there and beat Washington, to be honest with you.
Well, they're actually, I believe they're a 1-point favorite last
time. Not anymore. Washington's a 1-point favorite. It's been blowing up all week. It's been down all week.
Listen, Kirk Cousins is a straw that stirs the drink for the Redskins. I mean, they're going to go as far as he takes them. He's a phenomenal quarterback.
That offensive line isn't bad either for Washington.
Well, they don't run the ball exceptionally well.
No, they cut Matt Jones in the offseason.
Yeah, Robert Kelly is a starter right now. I think Samaje Perine is going to be the guy who gets it eventually.
Kelly killed the Eagles last year. Killed them. So,
it's a divisional matchup. I mean, for me, I'm going to err towards the home team, and not because I want to pick against the Eagles, even though I do. I just think that, in a game like this, again, I don't know what to expect from this Eagles offense. They've really... There's something to be said in football about continuity. And, you're changing outside receivers. Again, I don't know what Nelson Aguilar's going to do. I don't know. I mean, Torrey Smith's their deep threat, which they really haven't had. I think he's going to do okay there. Alshon's going to be Alshon. If Alshon's healthy, he's going to perform for you. But I really got to see, I really think the biggest thing holding the Eagles back is Doug Peterson. I just don't, I have no faith in this guy to lead this team. I was looking back at some of the offensive numbers in Kansas City when he was there as the offensive coordinator. They were in the 20s or lower in offense the 3 years that he was there as far as yardage. And then as soon as he left, they popped to 20.
Well, you look at this team, too. Who's going to be the main running back for this team? You got Gary Blunt, who's basically a goal line guy who hasn't looked that good in the preseason so far. You got Darren Sproles, who, have we even seen him? He's been out. They've been holding him back. You haven't seen any of him, and he's getting up there. Smallwood, who they've been down on, but now they love him, and he really hasn't done much. Pumphrey, who, I don't know how he made the team. Yeah. He was supposed to get cut. And you got the young kid, Clemens.
Well, he's the guy.
So who's the guy?
See, but for me, though, that's the guy I want to see more of. Because I think that while he's not overly heralded coming in, he's an undrafted guy, you got to have a kid to build around, especially with the fact that your quarterback's in his second year. So I think you really got to see what was going on there. I don't think Blunt's going to carry that much between the 20s, frankly. I think he's going to reprise his role, or at least try to, for the Eagles, where 20-yard line, they're just kind of pound. But I feel as though they're doing what they did with Blunt, what they did with DeMarco Murray. These guys are not left and right guys. They're downhill runners.
Yeah.
You can't expect them to go back and forth. I don't know.
I have a close game. Redskins 24, Eagles 21.
I think the Redskins win as well. I really want to see what the receivers do. I believe, this may be a controversy. This is a hot take right here. They have better receivers this year than last year.
The Eagles.
No.
Oh, wow.
The Redskins. And you lost 2,000-yard guys, and I understand that. You got to love what you've seen from Pryor, and I think Crowder in an expanded role is really going to shine. We had Doug Anderson on, our Redskins consultant for the Sports Box, and he really thought Crowder could be a top 10 receiver type year.
You lost a guy in Jackson who can get the ball downfield. You lost a guy in Garcon who's a big catch receiver who will get you the first down when you need it. So, did they replace it with it? Yeah, I think they're okay.
And I want to see Josh Dotson a little more. He got his first-round pick. He had almost redshirted last year. I think he's going to be okay long-term. Fantasy perspective, again, start your Redskins receivers. Because I think it's going to be a bit of a high-scoring game.
I think you start Jordan Reed, too.
Well, you got to start Jordan Reed, but you just never knew he was going to finish the whole game for you. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's 1 hit away from her end of the career.
So I guess we'll take the home team, the Redskins, there. Big matchup in the AFC to start. So the Oakland Raiders, they're still in Oakland. They hop a flight over to play the Tennessee Titans in what could be a pretty marquee game of two teams that are probably favorites to win their divisions this year. Tennessee boasts that third-ranked rushing attack from last year. I think they're going to run the ball again. It was a defensive strength of the Raiders last year. Was their rushing defense, but they had troubles against the task. What are your thoughts here, Mike? Again, Oakland on the road. It's not ideal. Tennessee's not an ideal opponent to get started with.
I'll tell you what, we started at the beginning of this year talking about this Tennessee Titan team. You can't sleep on them. And, you know, here's a team that with Mariota, DeMarco Murray, Delaney Walker, tight end, guess what? These aren't the old Tennessee Titans. I think actually the Titans could pull this game off. They're an underdog in this game. But I definitely think they can pull this game off. The Raiders, yeah, they have Derek Carr. They have Marshawn Lynch, which is soon to be determined. You know, you have wide receiver, help me out here.
Troy Matthews?
I'm blocking, yeah.
Amari Cooper.
Amari, yeah, that guy.
And Michael Crabtree.
And Michael Crabtree, I'm not too worried about. But Amari Cooper, I mean, you know, you got weapons on this Oakland team too, with defense. I just think, you know, they're both comparable on the road. You got to take the home team. I think you go with the Titans. Yeah, I like the Titans in this game. I think they can get it done. Mariota seems to be spreading the ball around nice. Like you said, the running attack is there. Look out for the Titans, folks.
Listen, tough. This is probably one of the top 3 matchups of Week 1.
Could be one of the toughest games of the year for the Titans too.
I really want to see what, and you know, one of the teams is going to be 0-1, right? Let's call it what it is. And I think it's a bigger game for Oakland to win than Tennessee. Kansas City just already won.
So Tennessee's not supposed to win this game, I think.
Well, Kansas City just beat New England, so now Oakland's already. They got to keep pace. Yeah. They expect to try to win this division. So I think it's a bigger game for Oakland than it is for Tennessee because I think the teams around Tennessee are going to lose or not really, you know, whatever. Give me Oakland in this game, but I don't really feel that great about it. I like Tennessee this year a lot. I think more than most. I like what I've seen from that team. Fantasy-wise, I'm curious to see how Tennessee works that passing offense with Eric Decker and Corey Davis. They got married to some new toys, and I want to see how they kind of.
But the opening games for rookies aren't really. I mean, I know we just. I agree. I just saw Kareem Hunt go nuts, but
that's true.
You're not going to have that all across the league with every rookie go nuts the first week. So I like the Titans. I like the receivers. I like the running backs in fantasy. In obviously Oakland, you got to start Derek Carr if you have him. I think you start Marshawn Lynch. I think it's an okay start for him, and you know, obviously Amari Cooper.
You're thinking of Amari Toomer, the former Giants
receiver. Yeah, I don't think he's in the league anymore. So yeah, Amari Cooper, I definitely start. But yeah, you know, I even start Tennessee defense. I think they could get you some points. They got some speed guys back there. So
yep. And if you're just joining us live, again, welcome to the Sports Box. We're on YouTube Live for you, breaking down some of the Week 1 matchups here in the NFL.
And if we stay on long enough, we'll be breaking down some Crush You Like It.
Yeah, right. So, Mike, you're up on the next game now.
So we're going to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. Now, this is a kind of an odd game because you talk about two cities that have been hit by hurricanes. One's going to be hit by a hurricane, and one's been trying to recover from a hurricane. So,
and guys, if you saw our Houston Texans preview, guys, like I said, you know, if you're in a position to donate to these causes, you know, again. Yeah. We're up against it again in Florida now.
Doesn't look good for the 3 cities in Florida for football cities. So.
Prayers, best wishes to the people out in Florida. If you can get out of there, please do.
I got some family down there. I got some good friends down there from high school and things like that. I know the Keys, they've been evacuating. So, but like Brian said, you know, best wishes to you. Hope stay safe. Don't take any chances out there. But anyway, with the game Jacksonville Houston, I think it's a no-brainer with Houston here because there's going to be emotion there. There's going to be some firepower there. Just like when Katrina hit New Orleans, if you saw that New Orleans game against Atlanta to open up the season, they went nuts in that game, the Saints. They did it for the city. They did it for everybody. I think it's going to be the same for Houston. Although I think Jacksonville, you know, we talked about in the beginning of the season with Princeton that they are what they are. You know, Blake Bortles is still some question marks. I think they're going to be better than last year. They can't be any worse. I mean, this team has stumbled when they should be moving forward, and they're not.
Yeah.
But I think Houston definitely can pull this game off.
Well, I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. And I say that because you have the number 1 and number 6 ranked defense from a year ago.
Yep.
And the number 29 and 23 offenses from a year ago. This is going to be a game where points are at a premium offensively. Wouldn't surprise me a lot to see some pick sixes going back and forth, maybe like a bit of a, field position battle. I want to see what Leonard Fournette does. You know, this is not a really ideal first game for him, making his NFL debut against the Texans defense.
He's got to get associated.
Oh, yeah. You know,
the Houston Texans. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, I think points are going to be at a premium here. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm not taking the Jaguars in this game, having won about what they won last year were pretty terrible. Houston's going to win this game, but I'm curious to see, again, if we see any of Deshaun Watson.
I don't think you will. But
I'm also a guy that I'm high on for you fantasy guys is Dante Foreman, the running back there that's behind Lamar Miller in Houston. Something tells me that we're going to see a lot more of him than we think we're going to see right now. Lamar Miller struggled to get in the end zone last year. He's a guy who I had personally on my team. I think you had him on the team as well. That he just let you down in a big, big way because he couldn't get in the end zone. Foreman's a big body. He'll get in there. We'll see. Jacksonville, I want to see more from Bortles because I have Allen Robinson. I know a lot of you guys do as well. I'm down on him.
I'm not driving a Jacksonville train anymore. I was for a while. I'm not driving anymore. Yeah. Blake Bortles has a lot of question marks. And I'll tell you, my fantasy pick, I like Fedorkowitz this week. Yeah. Because here's a guy who can get underneath the Jacksonville coverage who's susceptible to the tight end. They haven't been able to cover the tight end lately. So
we're going to go up to Motown. The Arizona Cardinals, after a disappointing 7-8-1 finish last year, are going to try to get right facing the Detroit Lions, who struggled like hell to run the ball last year. Mike, it's an interesting game here because, again, the defense for the Lions is not really their strong suit. They're going up against a team in Arizona with one of, if not the best running back in the league in David Johnson. Trust me, you got to start him. You don't need me to tell you that.
Matt Stafford, big deal. Big deal.
Money, yeah, but quarterbacks get that money in the league anymore. And I mean, you just look at these teams and it's hard to pick Detroit because Arizona's so good on both sides of the ball. Arizona's defense is so fantastic. Playmakers all over the field. It still boggles my mind that they were 7-8.
The aging Larry Fitzgerald still making plays. You got David Johnson, who's a beast. And like you said, defensively, they're getting it done. They still haven't taken a step back on defense. So this is going to be tough. Even though it's home for Detroit, I think it's going to be a tough game for them to win. Detroit side of the ball, obviously Golden Tate. Amir back in the backfield. Finally, let's see what he can do. Yep. He's been touted as a big fantasy guy up there. I think it's could be a good start for him this week. Could be a good start for the Arizona defense. I think they could get one returned, and even on the road, I think they're fine.
A guy that I'm really high on for the Lions is Eric Ebron. And I say that because, having lost Bolden from last year, they're going to need a guy for red zone targets. Ebron's a big body.
He's a health issue, though. That's
but I think he's healthy right now. And I want to see what he's going to be able to do. I think Stafford's going to look his way a lot in the red zone. Yeah. And Riddick's always a PPR darling because he catches the ball out of the backfield very, very well. As far as the game goes, though, obviously give me Arizona. I think we're probably on board with that.
Surprised nobody in the league has picked up Chris Johnson yet. I mean, he got released from Arizona, but he must be done. I mean, at this point, nobody's picked him up because he had some injuries.
Father time, right?
Yeah. So let's go out to Cleveland and talk about the Steelers at Cleveland. This is another putrid game because I just think the Steelers are going to be all over Cleveland, even though, Cleveland's trying to get back to, formility in the league and get something going. Aren't they starting Kaiser this week?
I believe they are.
Yeah, against that Steelers defense, who's not touted as a good defense, but has enough for the Browns. I don't think it's going to be a good game at all. I think you take the Steelers, you have any Steelers on your team, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, even Marcus Bryant, they could break out.
That's the guy I want to watch in this game. Yeah. Because coming off suspension, missed all of last year.
Yeah.
He's a guy, when he's on the field, him and Ben are like this, man. Yeah, they're really good. And you got a guy like Antonio Brown, the best receiver in the league, on the other side. With Bell, who do you cover? Who do you cover?
You cover one, everybody else gets loose.
Yeah, and also the Pittsburgh Steelers just picked up Joe Hayden from Cleveland, so he's probably going to want to pick somebody off about 3-4 times. He's fired up for
this game. Yeah, and if you have anybody from Cleveland, I think the best guy to start fantasy-wise this week is probably Duke Johnson. He might get some goal line carries if they can get down there, and he might sneak a touchdown for you or two. But, Crowell's going to get some carries. Yeah. But like I said, Duke Johnson for this team is kind of the bull of this team. And he did a little bit at the end of the year last year.
Well, Crowell was the hot name in fantasy circles. I mean, he was a guy who was pretty much a consensus top 3-round pick in most drafts.
Because he's going to get carried.
Yeah, I think that he's going to be a volume type guy.
Yep.
Am I keeping you awake? I'm sorry.
No, I'm good.
I mean, it's Cleveland Browns. You want to go off these Cleveland Browns?
It's because the game.
Yeah. For me, obviously, Pittsburgh's going to win the game. We're not going to break news there. But I really want to see again. I want to see what Martavis Bryant does in his first game back. I want to see if they involve Juju Smith-Schuster that much from the wide receiver position. I mean, Pittsburgh's so loaded. They're going to be there at the end. It's just a matter of
throw to Juju.
Yeah, but I want to see Ben healthy too. That's he's got to be there. But obviously, listen, Pittsburgh's going to win the game. Speaking of teams that are going to win pretty easy games, the Atlanta Falcons, fresh off their Super Bowl loss. Did you know that the Falcons had a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl
with 2 minutes left?
With about 2 minutes left in the third quarter and lost that game.
Unbelievable. But it's still, I can't sleep at night. I'm sure Redman isn't. Or Redbird.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of followers in the Atlanta, Georgia area. If you want to come back to the show, listen, we love you guys. But we're going to love you a lot in this game because I got to tell you, Chicago sucks. Yeah. Listen,
there are rumors they might start Trubisky. It's still undetermined yet. So if they did, that'd be a trap.
I got to tell you, though, I mean, listen, for the Bears, you got to start Jordan Howard because you drafted him, you're going to play him there. Their wide receiving core is an absolute abject failure right now.
Victor Cruz couldn't even crack the lineup.
Cruz got cut. Meredith's out for the year. Yeah. Kevin White is now thrust into this one receiver role, which
Alshon Jeffrey should have a good game. Oh, he's in Philly. So, good thing they let him go. So, like you said, their receiving core, I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
I think the storyline of this game is to see if the Falcons come out with a fire under their ass from last year because, again, we could see, Mike, the Super Bowl hangover of hangovers.
They have Kendall Wright, correct?
They do. The Bears do, yeah.
Wow. But you gotta like the Falcons obviously with Devontae Freeman. You gotta like Julio Jones obviously. I didn't think crack their defense because I think even if it's Gannon or Trubisky, you're gonna have some confusion there first game trying to get rolling in a new team. But if they start Trubisky, I mean, come on, you're Brook Lennon in there for all this money. You gotta start the season with Lennon. And go from there.
The guy that intrigues me for Atlanta is Austin Hooper, the tight end. We talked about that. Atlanta's never really, not since Tony Gonzalez days, have really had a tight end that they can really throw the ball to. And it's a prolific passing offense. Obviously, Julio Jones.
They've never had to use the tight end that much since Gonzalez left.
Right. It's a prolific offense. Again, Jones went in the high end of your draft. I mean, Freeman. You got two top 20 players here for sure, if not top 10.
Yeah.
So for me, the guy that I want to see if they can make an impact is Austin Hooper. The more guys you give Matt Ryan, the more weapons he has. I think he's going to become more lethal. Falcons win the game, but it matters. Let's just see how these guys.
I want to see Sanu get involved in this offense a little bit more. Here's a guy who was brought in to take some pressure off Julio Jones. Doesn't seem like that's happening that much, but I want to see if he can do something. But, the Bears, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's go to the next game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers head to Miami. That's right. That game got moved, unfortunately, because of the hurricane. But what sucks for both teams is now they don't have a bye week anymore.
Let's talk about that for a second. Now,
that's brutal.
Now that's I think it hurts Miami more than Tampa because Miami's got a game in London. I don't think Tampa does.
Yeah, no.
I get it, right? Nobody makes contingency plans for these things, but you
couldn't move it to somebody else's stadium.
Philadelphia's wide open,
Didn't and I asked somebody this the other day. Didn't the Giants play Detroit the year of Hurricane Sandy, and they moved that game? It was supposed to be in the Meadowlands. They moved that game to Detroit, and they played. So obviously you can't play.
I don't remember it exactly, but I don't think it was Detroit.
Well, obviously you can't play either Miami or Tampa because they're both in the line of fire. But you're telling me you can't play out west somewhere? Some of the stadiums. I mean, like even I think I see Denver.
Well, Carolina's not home this week.
Denver's home Monday night, but why can't you play the game there Sunday? You tear the field up, maybe.
You could play a lot of different places.
Right, you could play.
Half the stadiums don't have a game this week.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I mean, for me, Atlanta's in a dome.
Yep.
They're not home this week.
No, go play in Indianapolis. They're in Indianapolis.
Carolina, I don't know where the Storm's supposed to be, but Carolina's not home this week. I mean, if you're going to stay close. Listen, I don't think it's good for the players, and especially, for fantasy guys, I know people specifically who have a bunch of Dolphins and Bucks. They were not planning for this.
Yeah.
And for week one, you plan your bye weeks out. Yeah. NFL doesn't care.
So anyway, we talk about the Ravens and the Bengals.
AFC.
Do you want to talk more about that?
No, I'm good. I think it sucks for you being a Bucs fan. You want to get ready to watch your team. But
yeah. Just again, hope and pray that everybody's okay down there.
Right.
The Baltimore Ravens at the Bengals. Interesting game. Kind of leaning towards the Bengals a little bit in this game. I think the Ravens got a lot of injuries. Flacco hadn't played the whole preseason, so who knows what you're going to get from him. And here comes Andy Dalton with A.J. Green, one of the best receivers in the league. You talk about that running back situation in Cincinnati. Joe Mixon maybe gets a start for them.
Well, last I've heard on Joe Mixon, he's third on the depth chart.
Okay.
It can't make you feel good you use a top 40 pick on him in your fantasy drafts, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Star doesn't mean jack in the NFL.
Start with Jeremy Hill.
I don't know that you can start any of them this week with any kind of confidence because you just don't know how it's going to shake out. Are we looking at a Patriot situation in Cincinnati with the running backs? There's 3 guys now.
Yeah.
Do you have any confidence starting any of them? I think Mixon's the most talented of the bunch.
I think he's going to be getting up the depth chart soon because, like you say, you don't waste a top 40 pick on him to move up to get a guy to sit him on your bench. You got to try to get him in there.
Well, I don't mean top 40 necessarily I mean your fantasy drafts too. People use a high pick on him, thinking the talent's undeniable, off the field type stuff, whatever. But
And the Ravens is the same situation, too.
You gotta love Woodhead, though. Seriously.
Yeah, he's versatile. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run the ball for you. I don't know if he's an all-the-time carry guy, though.
No, but this is going to give Baltimore a dimension they have not had, in my recollection.
Well, sure. And again, it's going to hinge on Flacco, too.
Yes.
His health.
But I can see a lot of dump-offs.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of dump-offs to Woodhead.
If you got Woodhead and you got a PPR league, you're living large.
Absolutely.
You're living large.
So underrated.
Yep.
Macklin makes his debut as a Raven. Now, he's a guy that I think Flacco's going to love. Downfield, I think he's going to be a guy who can catch those targets for you. As far as the game goes, I kind of agree with you. I think the Bengals just last year was such a... Call it what it was. It was a shit show for the Bengals last year.
Yeah.
And for me, I think they have a lot to prove. They have a home game here. I don't know necessarily that the Ravens need the game this early. Obviously, I think they want the game. I think it's tight.
I think the Bengals do to get
back. I think it's tight, though.
Yeah, I think it's tight, and you got to give it to the home team.
Yep. So again, thank you for watching. We're here at Week 1 discussing the NFL and the games this week on the Sports Box live here on YouTube for you. If you haven't yet seen the show before, we have a lot of great content on our show. We do a lot of sports. We just finished 32 team previews in the NFL. Make sure you check those out and find your team.
And great news, I'm not on Viking yet. Although I'm heading that way, but that's okay.
This is Mike, Hamilton Mike, if you know him.
Hi.
Likes to throw things. He didn't throw anything today because I asked him nicely not to. Yeah. But where you're going to see a lot of things not thrown either?
Where's that?
Colts Rams.
Oh.
Colts Rams.
How the mighty have fallen. What the hell happened to Andrew Luck?
So Baltimore, St. Louis, Indianapolis, Los Angeles. Luck's out for the game. Sit your Colts. Yeah. I don't want you starting any Colts players in fantasy this week with the... This is going to be surprising coming from me. Mm-hmm. Everybody who knows me knows that I detest Frank Gore in fantasy. This is the 1 week I kind of feel okay starting him. Aaron Donald's not playing for the Rams.
Yeah.
Scott Tolzien doesn't really tickle your fancy, throwing the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to run. Yeah. They're going to run. I think Gore gets a lot. You want to be sneaky in your daily fantasy leagues? Try Marlon Mack. Because he's a guy who's a rookie. I think eventually might win that job from Gore as Gore kind of fades off into the sunset. Yeah. They're going to run a lot in this game. I don't think Pagano's going to lean on Tolzien's arm. You're going to start T.Y. Hilton, but you don't really like it.
I think if you can't start Gurley this week and he does something for you, I think you got problems with Gurley this year. But this is a game he should have feast on his team.
For those of you who watched our Colts preview, you guys know that the Colts have not stopped anything defensively since the mid-'80s. So,
you mean the Colts preview that you destroyed Jim and he's probably jumping off a bridge right now?
Jim's my dude, but he knows. He knows these things. I really want to see what Jared Goff's going to do here. Jared Goff had a disastrous year one, especially considering...
It wasn't even a full year, though. See, that's the thing. A lot of people full year.
Yeah, but it started disastrous. How do you not win the job?
Yeah. Off Casey Kasem.
Case Keenum?
Yeah. It's Casey Kasem. I'm thinking of top 40.
Case Keenum? Over the number 1 pick in the draft?
Yeah. Well, could have been coaching, too.
Listen here now. That's just not... No.
You got to start the guy and let him take his lumps. I don't care if Case Keenum's better than him or not. You put the kid in, you let him take his lumps, you let him learn. So now he's had half a season under his belt. Now he's got another half a season to learn the offense. And, he's going to get it beaten again. I mean, maybe not the whole year, but I don't think you're going to see what you got out of Goff until halfway through the season, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm going to give the Rams this much credit.
Yeah.
Because they went out and got him some weapons.
And you got to hope Sammy Watkins can stay healthy.
Yes. And I am not a Watkins fan, but obviously he's far and away better than what they've had there. Yep. Cooper Kupp's been the talk of fantasy circles as far as that late round steal type guy.
Yep.
Listen, I don't want any Rams on my team, but whatever.
And a change of scenery could be good for Sammy Watkins. I mean, now you go from Buffalo to the sunny California. I mean,
hey, it's warmer.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too cold on the hamstrings.
Not hurt him. Yeah.
I got to pick a winner here. I got to pick a winner here.
I'm taking the Rams.
I'm taking the Rams too.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Oh my God.
Scott Tolzien. I don't think you should start him in your fantasy league this week. If you have him, come in my league. I seriously want you to play in my league.
Oh, unreal.
So you got going out west again, talking about the Panthers and the 49ers. Now here's a game that's interesting, Brian. You got the Panthers who need a bounce back year from what they had last year. I don't think go anywhere up. And then you got the San Francisco 49ers who finally got Chip Kelly out of there. And, John Lynch, we both said, is a superstar with his draft and trying to get his team back. I think it's going to be a real close game, to be honest with you. I think San Francisco can hang in this game a little bit. So believe it or not, I'm going to give you a little whisper pick. I think they might be able to win it. Outright. That's right, I said it. Right.
So when you said earlier that you do not support taking medication, did you want to
I'm not even taking it yet. So imagine when I do start taking it.
All right, that's not going to happen.
Ooh.
That's not going to happen. So the 49ers are one of the bottom 5 teams in the league. And
They are.
I think I'm being generous.
But I think this is one of the games they can sneak, believe it or not. Will they?
Well, here's the thing. You know, it's going to be their rushing game because they're really a guy. They're a team that relies a lot on the rushing. You know, they had the 31st ranked offense last year, right? Mm-hmm. But they had the 4th best rushing attack. So how bad was their passing attack last year?
Bad.
When you have the 4th best rushing attack in the league and you're still dead last.
That's bad.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's bad.
My God. I mean, listen, Hoyer's going to be
Listen,
far and way better. And you know what? It's Brian Hoyer.
It's Brian Hoyer. He's not a top 5 quarterback. He's better than what they have. And I don't think he's hideous. I think he's average at best. You're going to have Garcon there. You got some new blood. You got a whole new attitude. And listen, if they don't win this game, it's going to be a very, very long season for them anyway. But I think this is a game they can steal. And you got Cam Newton, who's still not the same quarterback he was a couple of years ago. He had a rough year last year. I think that was because he was bitching too much about getting hit. But you do have McCaffrey going home. Could be a homecoming for him from the Stanford area. You know, he's going to have a lot of fans there. I do think the Panthers still can win this game.
Hot take, McCaffrey in the end zone twice.
Twice?
Twice. Running, throwing.
Okay.
Maybe he'll pass one. I don't even know. The dude does everything.
All right, you swayed me. I'm taking the Panthers.
There you go. Fantasy circles. You guys got to pick up a guy named Matt Breida. Matt Breida is going to be the primary backup to Carlos Hyde. Yeah. Carlos Hyde is not the picture of health all the time, so that's a guy who could be a real good steal for you.
Yeah. Good handcuff you have Hyde.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the games. Now we're getting to some real good games now. Real good games now. Seahawks, Packers. The Seahawks want the ball because they're going to score.
How many times can each team play like a rematch?
It's amazing, isn't it? But you know what? They're phenomenal games. Yeah. I mean, especially in the playoffs.
2 of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFC going up against each other this week.
I think they might be the 2 best teams in the NFC.
Could be.
I'm a Dallas fan saying that, by the way. Mm-hmm. So,
I'm a Bucs fan.
I think one of these 2 teams comes out of the NFC, frankly. This is a hell of a start. Talk out of Seattle, though. Thomas Rawls may not play in this game, which would give former Fat Packer Eddie Lacy the start.
Going home, another going home game. Going home to his, beloved Green Bay. I think Seattle can take this game.
Let's call it like it is, though. How bad is Eddie Lacy?
You know what? He lost some weight. He didn't look that horrible in preseason, but is he going to be an all-time back? Probably not. Not in Seattle.
Well, let's break this down team by team for a little bit. Let's talk about Seattle. Mm-hmm. Seattle, again, loaded for bear. Great team. I think Doug Baldwin's going to be a really good fantasy pick.
He's almost like an elite wide receiver, to be honest.
I think he is an elite wide receiver, And I think he's a guy that, for all the talk of Russell Wilson, right? Mm-hmm. Who is their number 2 receiver? I mean, I know the answer, but is it relevant?
No, not really.
It's Paul Richardson right now, I believe. I think Lockett's in the slot. Yeah. They look to Graham and to Doug Baldwin a lot. And I think they're going to continue doing that. The running game is interesting. So Lacy's getting the start for what that's worth. But the guy who I really like is Chris Carson.
Actually, you can't discard Jimmy Graham there. He had a good year last year at the end of the year. So
better than the first year.
Yes, first year was hideous there.
Real bad.
So, I think they get him more involved in the offense this year.
Oh, absolutely. I think for sure. But I think for fantasy, if you can stash a Chris Carson, I think it's a good move for you.
Yep. You're all about the stash, aren't you?
I do. I love breaking guys out later. Like, hey, look at this guy I got.
Obviously, Rodgers is a good start. Obviously, Ty Montgomery. I kind of lean towards Cobb a little bit this week.
Cobb's interesting to me. Cobb's a guy who's fallen in drafts a lot.
Yep.
A lot. And I think I get it. I get it because Adams was 1A. We spoke with Ryan Havermail, the Sports Box Green Bay Packers correspondent.
He likes to go to Adams.
Yeah, absolutely. Adams was 1A last year.
But now you talk about 1B. Talk about Martellus Bennett.
That's interesting.
He's very sneaky, folks. If you have him, start him because I think he's going to be a very good weapon for Rodgers there. They haven't had a good, solid tight end to go to. Ready? Says Jermichael Finley. How far back we go with Jermichael Finley with the head injury?
What's he doing these days?
He's probably in a mental hospital. I'm trying to just remember his name.
Jermichael, we need guys to sweep the floor in the Sports Box studio. If you want to get a job here, thesportsboxshow@gmail.com. You apply for that job.
You always get us on social media.
Absolutely.
At the end of the show,
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Okay, so I'm taking Seattle.
You're taking Seattle?
I am taking Seattle. Go Hawks.
Listen, I'm going to take Green Bay at home. I don't love it. This is going to be a great great game.
Yep.
Don't necessarily feel upset to start your Packers. I understand the Seahawks have a great defense. Rodgers lit them up before. You can light them up again. Should be a high-scoring game.
Do you want me to take the next game, or you want to?
You know what? You just go.
New York Giants off to Dallas to play those Cowboys.
Dude, I am so sick of this game being the first game of the year. Honestly, though.
Yeah, it really is repetitive. This is a game that Eli had a feast on the Cowboys last time they played. He had 3 touchdowns, I believe, in this game. Odell is Odell. Although the Giants don't have a running attack, they still have Paul Perkins back there. That's right, folks. Paul Perkins in the backfield. The Cowboys are getting Ezekiel Elliott this week. Who knows how much time he's going to miss after that. I always say they have to get Dez more involved in the offense. Whether they do that or not is up to them. And you're going to see what you're going to get with Dak this year, because Dak is lucky to have a line that he does in Dallas, the running backs that he has, and the wide receivers. Not that he's not a good quarterback. I will not say that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that with those kind of weapons around you, it gives him time to really read defenses and really get the flow of the offense. So you're going to see. I always say, and Brian knows this, every freshman quarterback, the sophomore year will take a step back, whether it's a big step or a small step. If he takes a small step, that's fine. They will survive. If he takes a big step, then you got issues.
Before I talk about this game, I actually want to ask you that question, because you know this more than I do. Mm-hmm. The sophomore slump. Jameis Winston, Bucs quarterback.
Yes.
How was that?
Took a small step. He didn't take a big step. He took a small step back. And now he's progressively moving forward. Now, again, is he going to take a big step forward or a small step forward? He takes a small step, then we got problems. He's got to take a big step now. You take a small step back to move 2 forward. So
the 2 games these teams played last year were very tight. 20-19, 10-7.
Yep.
13-3 Dallas team last year. They lost the last game of the year. They didn't care. Against the Eagles, the 2 losses, with the Giants. They're the only team they couldn't beat last year.
Yep.
Giants defense is fantastic. You guys know I gush about them because I think they're I think they're going to win the division.
And Dallas' defense is kind of
Dallas' defense is a garbage fire. It's on fire.
The bonfires we used to have in high school? Yeah, that's what they are. Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. Again, they get Elliott back for this game. You know, how ironic is that? Nationally televised game. Oh, we'll let Zeke play.
What a surprise.
Come on, it's all about the almighty dollar.
We'll deal with it later.
That's whatever.
I'll tell you a sneaky guy to look out for in this game, Brian, fantasy-wise. Evan Ingram from the Giants.
Oh, I can see that.
Underneath coverage with the Cowboys, I think he's going to have a field day.
Here's the thing. We don't know right now at 6:13 p.m. on Friday, September the 8th, if Odell Beckham is going to play in this game.
He'll play.
I don't know. I got to tell you,
Sunday night, you'll hear all kinds of hype. He might not. Then all of a sudden, he's off the injury list. It's a Sunday night game. He'll play in a wheelchair. Will he get a lot of reps?
Is he going to decoy?
He could decoy. You got Brandon Marshall out there for the
Sterling Shepard.
Not that he's a stud. Sterling Shepard. I mean, he's a good receiver.
Cowboy side, Dak's looked good in preseason. I'm going to give him that. I got to see him do it here. Listen.
Big spot.
It is a big spot.
Sunday night opening week.
But they didn't beat the Giants last year. Again, the only team they couldn't beat. Dak's 0-2 against them.
Yep.
So I really want to see if he can take a step forward in this game and get them to a win while they have Elliott. So for me, I think the Giants win the game. But I'm
taking the Giants too.
I'd love to see the Cowboys come out and win this game and really take over this because I think that they're going to struggle a little bit.
Hurts division game at home too, opening week.
But they always lose to the Giants.
Yeah.
But it's just whatever.
The Monday night matchup, I don't like the 2 games. I don't like 2 games on Monday night, to be honest with you. For one, you got the 7-10 game. Okay, that's great. It's a national audience. How many people besides the West Coast are checking out the 10-20 game? I mean, you're talking about half the country has to get up for work on Tuesday. Yeah. They're not staying up to watch the Chargers.
They're doing this. They're doing this Monday morning.
I don't care who it matches. I don't care if it's Seattle, Green Bay. You're not watching that late game. I mean, I know it's nice for the league to have 2 games on Monday night because they could promote it. It's not good football for both teams. They're not going to watch. Anyway, the Saints and the Vikings. You got Adrian Peterson going back home, going to Minnesota again. We have agreed he's not a top 5 running back anymore. We don't know.
Top 5?
I don't know how. Top 10. I don't know where. 10? I don't know. Stop it. I don't know where he's going to be this year in the way of running for them. I mean, I don't think the line is good for New Orleans anyway. Interesting game, Brian. I don't know what to make of it. I think the Vikings can win this game.
Well, it's an interesting game because it's strength versus strength and weakness versus weakness. Yeah. And that you have that prolific Saints offense with Drew Brees, who's always there, Always throwing
and has to throw for 400 yards a game to win games because their defense stinks.
Listen,
yeah,
it is what it is.
How did Jerry's Bird work out for them?
Not well.
Yeah.
Not well.
Sorry.
So Minnesota comes back again. Sammy Sleeves.
Sammy Sleeves.
Not really. It doesn't really inspire confidence.
And DC in the backfield, Dalvin Cook, baby.
That's a guy. Listen. That's the key to this game. It's the key to this game because if Cook puts up $120 and a touchdown, I think they win this game. Only because that means that they held the ball long enough. And the best way to keep Drew Brees from putting up points on you is to keep his ass on the bench because you have the ball. So for me, if the Vikings have any intention to open up their new stadium with a win, they better control that clock.
And don't sleep on Stephon Diggs either. I think he can have a big year for them if he can get the ball downfield to him.
You know who's a really underrated stash? So I talk about stashes in week 1.
You're a big stash guy.
Laquan Treadwell.
Yeah.
Laquan Treadwell.
And they're going to get him more involved in the offense.
They have to. They're forced to. And he was a guy who was a first-round pick last year.
Yep.
He had like 1 catch all year.
What do you think about Kyle Rudolph?
I like Kyle Rudolph because Sam Bradford's a terrible quarterback.
Wow.
So they need a safety valve to the tight end. I think he catches a lot of touchdowns this year.
On the Saints side of the ball, you really got Adrian Pearson. They got rid of Brandon Cooks in the offseason. I mean, that was a good move. You do have Willie Snead.
You do. So. Well, no, you don't. Not in this game. Suspended for 3 games.
Oh, that's right.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
I think Michael Thomas goes off in this game because he has to.
Michael Thomas is going to have a good year. So I mean, that's.
Well, also Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn. I mean, if they're going to cover Thomas, I want to see what Ginn does.
And if you have Toby Fleener, don't start him.
Kobe.
Yeah, he stinks. Kobe stinks.
Got to pick a winner.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
I'm taking Minnesota.
Taking Minnesota?
Ooh.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Give me New Orleans. Okay. Give me New Orleans. I don't love it, though. I don't love it.
In the late game, Chargers and the Broncos, kind of a mismatch, too. You got Trevor Siemian starting for the Broncos and the aging Phillip Rivers for the Chargers. Broncos, what can you say about the Broncos? The running back situation, you just mix and match. And
defense is great and the offense blows. What else are you going to say
about
that? And they're going to have one-dimensional. And they're going to have to win that way because, again, they haven't really replaced Peyton Manning. How the hell Paxton Lynch can't win a job over Trevor Siemian? My God. I forget. I read the article recently. I forget who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said, they see a lot of Peyton Manning in Trevor Siemian. I'm like, oh, should Trevor be retired too? Is that what they want to say like that?
What are
they
hiding?
What is going on?
What are they hiding?
That is going to hold the Broncos back, and I know Will Pitt's not going to like me saying that.
That's the disgrace even challenging Peyton Manning in that conversation.
I think their line's better this year.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Garrett Bowles.
Yeah.
Garrett Bowles. The running game's going to be interesting here. Again, C.J. Anderson's going to have every opportunity to take that ball and be the lead guy. But Jamal Charles is breathing down his neck. Ultra-talented guy. Oft injured, yes. Mm-hmm. But we'll see what happens there. For the Chargers, they're getting Keenan Allen back. Mike Williams will not play in this game.
Ton of wide receivers.
And they added to it.
Kelvin Benjamin, Inman. I mean, they got guys.
And Travis Benjamin.
Kelvin's
a guy I don't like.
I didn't say Kelvin. I said Benjamin. I said Benjamin. Shut up. Benjamin, Inman. You got guys loaded. It's just injuries on this team. That's the problem.
You know what's funny?
And you got to get Gordon off this year. Gordon's got to have a good year.
Yes, but the funny thing about that, you're right, is all I've heard is Melvin Gordon from all these fantasy pundits. First round pick. The Chargers' rushing offense was 26th in the damn league last year. And you want me to spend a first-round pick on their running back? Are you serious?
He's got to get off, and the defense looks good this year for the Chargers. So that could keep them around in games, hopefully.
Trey Bosa.
Yeah.
Broncos.
That was easy. I'm taking Broncos.
Yeah. And fantasy-wise, though, again, I really want to see. I think C.J. Anderson has a very, very nice game. I think he takes the ball and runs with it. Pardon the pun. As far as my Chargers go, I don't really know because I like Hunter Henry a lot. Mm-hmm. Like what I saw from him last year.
Henry.
But Gates is still on this team.
Yeah,
and it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
So it's waiting on Dallas. But.
Yeah. So. Well, that's week 1, our week 1 preview here on the Sports Bike. Any other closing thoughts you want to?
No. No, I'm not.
No? All right. Well, listen, we appreciate you guys watching us today. We're going to try to do it live a little more often for you here. Again, this is the Sports Box. You can definitely make sure that you're... actually, I'm not going to take away from you. Go ahead. This is your area.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can always get us on social media if you need to.
Oh, that's right. And then you pass it off to me.
I pass it off to you. Yeah.
So, again, if you're just watching the show for the first time, thank you for finding us today. We're going to get you a lot of great content through the rest of the year. Make sure that you find us on Twitter @SportsBoxShow and also on Facebook @SportsBoxShow. Please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really do appreciate it. And we'll be bringing you more content as we go move along.
Is that it?
That's all I got.
That was weak. Anyway. Remember, if you're Rite Aid, Walgreens, any of those, we take sponsorships, we take sponsor ads, whatever you need, we got them free. So, and remember, thanks for watching our live show. YouTube, we'll have plenty more of them if Brian drags my ass down to them. At the Sports Box, the only opinion that matters.
It's right here, and you're going to find out more if you subscribe to our show.
Woo! See ya.